I was sitting in a cafe with my friend and he just randomly asked me, what are your two favourite things? And I remember saying tennis and children. And he just looked at me and said, you should be a tennis coach. And as soon as he said it, I knew that was exactly what I wanted to do. And I can't imagine doing anything more fun or more rewarding in my working career.
An economic model called neoliberalism has swept the globe over the last 30 years. Many have called it a failure.
I spent 7 years straight working in California coaching tennis, and I loved it.
Neoliberalism is often referred to as a race to the bottom. Multinational corporations, including mega banks, work together to undermine our democracies for their profit.
When I came back to Australia from America, I found all the laws here had changed. They call you an independent contractor, but they treat you like an employee. So you build goodwill for the bigger business, you wear their uniform, you do all the things that an employee would do, and they take 70% of your profit and call you a small business.
Subcontracting is a part of those neoliberal processes. It's been reinforced by something in this country called competition policy, introduced in the 90s. Typically it involves, first of all, breaking down ongoing commitments to workers, turning permanent positions into casual positions, and then sometimes contracting out altogether to make workers or groups of workers subcontractors, small businesses. So there is no workplace anymore in that circumstance, and they become small businesses. And then all of the regulations that were built up about regulating working hours and wages and so on disappear once the worker becomes a subcontractor.
What is taking place today is the greatest transfer of public wealth into private hands in the history of the earth. One of the ways they are doing this is by underemployment, unpaid overtime, 12-hour workdays with no penalty rates. No sick leave or annual leave has become the norm for tennis coaches.
The point of the whole process from the private corporation's point of view is to minimise their commitments and maximise their prerogatives.
Governments are increasingly trading off numbers of temporary workers coming to Australia.
I was meant to work 38 hours a week. I work 7 days a week from Monday to Sunday. Normally I work from 8 to 8. There's times that on Mondays in particular, I will have to work from 8 to 10.
They were supposed to be addressing a skill shortage in Australia, and the employer was supposed to test whether there was a local worker available before being able to bring in a temporary worker.
We are just earning $10 or less an hour.
What governments have been doing is saying, we'll remove the labour market testing, and that increases the number of temporary workers who are coming in. And of course these workers are vulnerable to exploitation. So the overall effect of that is that there's a decrease in working conditions for everyone as a whole.